What's up, YouTube? Capital G here, checking out the brand new Gravekeeper fusion monster that just got revealed. This is, of course, coming out of Soul Fusion. And even though in my last video talking about GKs, I said that I thought that it made the most sense for Gravekeepers to get an XC monster, I can't really sit here and act like this was the shock of the century that Gravekeepers are getting fusion support, because obviously the name of the freaking set is Soul Fusion, and Konami is really pushing that mechanic in this set with the Cyber's fusion support and then the Thunder Dragon fusion support. So I do think that it kind of makes the most sense, because that's the mechanic that they're pushing right now. So this is Gravekeeper's Esper, and the artwork of the card looks magnificent, although we already knew the artwork of some of these Gravekeeper cards. Not sure how much support Gravekeepers are going to get in this set, but I think we're going to get a minimum of 3 cards, because we've seen the artwork of 3 monsters and this one has already come to fruition. So this is a big fusion monster. It's level 7. It is a dark spellcaster. We expected the dark and the spellcaster and all that good stuff. 2000 attack and 2000 defense. The stat line doesn't really look that good on paper, but when you get to the first effect, it kind of answers that in my opinion. The materials were exactly what I wanted. When I saw it was a fusion, I was a little jarred at first, and then I was like, man, this thing better just be 2 Gravekeeper monsters. It better not be, Gravekeeper's Chief plus some other crappy Gravekeeper, or 2 level 5 Gravekeepers or something. It's just the materials are just straight up 2 Gravekeeper monsters, which is perfectly fine. I think that most people will take that because it allows you to use any monsters, and hey, Gravekeeper Spy is a monster that instantly gets you another GK. So it says that the third effect is the hard once per turn. The first effect kind of fixes the whole stat line problem, and that is this card gains 100 attack and defense by the total original levels of its fusion materials times 100. Okay, so for the most part, as I said before, people really just use the level 4 Gravekeepers and then they use Recruiter. So I think that your chances are you're going to use Recruiter and Spy, or Spy and Spy, or Commanded and Spy, or Commanded and Recruiter, or something like that. So I would mostly imagine that you're going to be using either 7 stars or 8 stars to make this. Now I could be wrong. Maybe some of the new GKs that are coming out are like level 5s or 8s or something like that, and they're crazy busted. But right now I'm assuming that most of the time you drop this guy, you're going to be getting around 700 to 800 attack gain, which, I mean, that's pretty good. 2700 for a boss monster, 2800 is legitimate. The second effect, if Necro Valley is on the field, this card and cards in your field zone cannot be destroyed by cannot be destroyed by card effects. So that one is kind of it's kind of average in my opinion. Yeah, it does protect itself potentially from Bottomless Trap Hole or Torrential Tribute when you do summon it. Honestly, I would have liked it more if it was protected from targeting. I mean, it does protect your Necro Valley from, I guess, the Nightmare Phoenix, or you get protected from Nightmare Cerberus. The Nightmare cards are very popular right now, and they do have some targeting destruction effects, but for the most part, I mean, there's still Cosmic Cyclone and stuff out there, although I did see some people actually playing Heavy Storm Duster and Trickstars in the side deck, so maybe that will actually come in handy. I think that that's probably its worst effect, but it's still maybe a C plus B minus effect. The last effect is actually pretty good in my opinion. It says during your main phase, you can activate this effect. During the end phase of this turn, add 1 Gravekeeper's monster or Necro Valley card from your deck to your hand. Okay, so this is actually a pretty good effect. Basically, it is a Skarm for not the entire Gravekeeper archetype, because you can't get Royal Tribute, which would be nuts. That'd be kind of nice. But it does open up the possibility of getting Imperial Tombs of the Necro Valley, which is a card that you don't really see Gravekeeper players run that often. Basically, it is Infernity Barrier for Gravekeepers. It does require you to have Necro Valley and a GK monster on the field, but it's just as strong as a card like Infernity Barrier, which is obviously a really good card even by today's standards, and all the clone Infernity Barriers are pretty good as well. So now that you can search it, you might see that card see play, and you can obviously get the original Necro Valley, which the entire archetype revolves around. You can tutor for all the monsters, so this is basically a Skarm. Now the downside is the fact that all of these monsters or whatever you actually search, you're really not going to be able to use it until your turn basically comes around, unless, and this is just me kind of wishful thinking, unless Konami is actually really generous and gives Gravekeepers a hand trap, which would be so phenomenal if they gave Gravekeepers a themed hand trap. Even if it needed Necro Valley on the field, that would be amazing. Just something that Gravekeepers could search during the end phase and activate immediately. Now honestly, I've seen so many people trashing Gravekeeper's Esper. The way that I look at this card is it overwhelmingly insanely good? Is it something like Spiral Double Helix where it's like, oh my god, this card instantly makes the deck like tier 1 by itself? No, I don't think so. But I kind of look at the card and I'm like, the first effect is like a B- effect. The second effect is like C+, and the third effect is kind of like an even B because it is a Skarm, and that's pretty good. So I think overall you probably end up with about a B- card, and really I feel like this is a little incomplete when it comes to what we're basing this card on, because honestly, if Konami gives Gravekeepers, and this is very, very possible, if they give them a ridiculously strong fusion card, as we saw with Thunder Dragons, where that card is fucking ridiculous, Thunder Dragon Fusion, I don't think anyone's gonna complain about this. What if Gravekeepers get a fusion spell that lets you fusion using your deck or something like that? And also you can banish it from your graveyard. It's unaffected by, it's unaffected by Necro Valley, and it lets you add like a Necro Valley card to your hand. Like, that would be amazing. So I think that there is a very legitimate chance that Gravekeepers will get a fusion spell in this set, because Thunder Dragons got one and Cyberus got one as well. I think we need to wait on that, because I really don't think Konami wants us playing like old school polymerization, or maybe there's a potential that one of the other new monsters actually has like a fusion effect built into it. I think that this card is okay. I think it's a solid card. I do believe that we have to wait for the other cards to be revealed, because they might make this card a heck of a lot better, and then we'll, be sitting around thinking, damn, why'd we trash this card when the new cards made it make a lot more sense? So you guys let me know what you think in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already, and turn on that notification bell for daily videos.